stand for flag salute and brief prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bless us as we gather today for this freeholder meeting. Guide our minds and hearts so we may work together for the good of our community. Help us to be generous in our outlook, courageous in the face of difficulty, and wise in our decisions. Amen. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, this is to announce that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided. Pursuant to the 2019 bylaws, rules, and regulations of the Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Burlington, time shall be set aside on the agenda for receipt of public comments. Public comments will be received with respect to agenda items prior to board consideration of resolutions to be adopted. An additional opportunity for public comment will occur later in the meeting. Public comment shall be limited to 5 minutes per speaker. Unused time may not be transferred to another speaker. Persons may speak once per public comment period. I direct the Deputy Clerk to enter into the minutes of this meeting, this public announcement, and the advance written notice of this meeting. Freeholder Hobson?
Here.
Freeholder O'Connell?
Here.
Freeholder Singh?
Here.
Freeholder Piver?
Here.
Director Pulliam?
Here. Thank you. At this time, I'll be asking for approval of minutes of both the public and conference meetings of October 10th, 2019.
So moved.
Second. In favor?
Aye.
I'm abstaining from both.
I'm abstaining.
Okay. Okay. Now we're going to move on to recognitions for this evening. We have a very special recognition this evening. We are honoring the folks who participated in Operation Snowfall. This is going to get a little crazy with giving out this certificates, notifications. What we've done is we've divided them among the freeholders. Each of them will let you know the departments that they have so that you can get your certificates. From Burlington, I'd like to ask the following to please come up front and try and get over here. I know it's going to be a big group, okay? We'd like to have the Burlington County Prosecutor's Office, Burlington County Department of Public Safety, Burlington County Sheriff's Department, Bordentown Township Police Department, Burlington City Police Department, Burlington Township Police Department, Edgewater Park Police Department, Florence Township Police Department, Mount Laurel Police Department, Pemberton Township Police Department, West Hampton Township Police Department, Willingboro Township Police Department. From our neighboring county, we asked Ewing Township Police Department and Trenton Police Department, please. We're going to have to try and fill in, guys. From the federal government, we have a representative for Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms and Explosives, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. All these folks up here represent brave men and women who protect and keep us safe on a daily basis. All these organizations took part in Operation Snowfall last month. This operation resulted in criminal charges filed against 31 individuals for their roles as members, associates, and suppliers of multiple drug trafficking conspiracies that distributed cocaine, crack cocaine, and heroin in the Burlington County area. I'd like to ask the Burlington County Prosecutor, Scott Cofina, to explain a little bit more about this incredible collaboration.
Thanks a lot, Tom, and to the entire board. Look at the number of people up around the board tonight, and all the number of agencies that that Director Pulliam identified. It's an incredible large amount of agencies, and to have them cooperate together and work so well together is really not the easiest feat in the world, just because there's a lot of coordination, but this worked extremely well. I could not be more grateful to the U.S. Attorney and to the FBI and to all of the agencies, but particularly the federal agencies, for devoting their resources to Burlington County. The 31 people that were charged in these two drug conspiracies are well-known troublemakers and long-standing troublemakers who we've encountered before, all of our agencies in various times in various ways, and to have had these very significant charges brought against them with an investigation that was done so thoroughly and so well over the course of months, and an operation that was very complex and that everybody here worked so well together to make sure was done at the time of the arrest is really impressive. And I just want to highlight in particular Bill Highland. Oh, there we go. From the FBI. So Bill was the head of the FBI task force that really was the focal point of this investigation. He also just retired, and after a very distinguished career with the FBI, I can't think of a better way for Bill to go out, and it's really a great gift to all of us on his way out the door in terms of his devotion to this investigation and the great results that they saw. So I could single out everybody, obviously, because all of these agencies and all of these individuals and many more not here contributed. But Bill was at the tip of the spear for this, and the FBI task force did an outstanding job in getting all of us together and on the same page in this investigation. So thank you all so much.
If you could slide behind the board and stand behind them, we're going to try and get a photo of everybody, if that's possible.
First one is for the county prosecutor's office. The next one I have is the County Department of Public Safety. I've got the County Sheriff's Department. It's amazing, I know everybody. Now this one's going to be hard. Bordentown Township, I'm sorry. Look at you.
Trenton Police Department and Willingboro, West Hampton. Trenton. Willingboro.
I have Burlington Township. The City of Burlington. And Edgewater Park.
The big guy. I do know him. You can't miss it.
All right, I have Pemberton. Mount Laurel. Thank you. Thank you. And Florence. Oh, 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I have Ewing Township. Congratulations. Thank you very much. The Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. If they're not here, we'll make sure we get that to them. ATF, yeah. Okay. And the retiree. You can join the other retiree. Federal Bureau of Investigation.
Thank you very much. Thanks again.
Thank you very much.
Hey guys, can
Thanks
you
all.
squish in a lot?
So please push in and they can be on.
Yeah, if we push in, you guys want to take. Don't let all my stuff there.
Right.
You gotta move back to Cleveland to get this one.
A little bit more, act like you like each other.
At least for a minute.
We do. All right, I got it.
Got it?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Ready? 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Thank you.
This is the guy I want to show around the truck.
There you go.
Yeah, you want to do that? That'd be great. Thank you very much.
this time, I'd ask Freeholder Robson for the next presentation. We're going to be recognizing the Burlington County Teacher of the Year.
Hello, everyone. Yes, I'm excited about this. So the Governor Educator of the Year program through New Jersey Department of Education aims to promote positive school culture and by acknowledging outstanding teachers for their work. Burlington County Teacher of the Year for 2019-2020 academic year is Michelle Ann Spring from the Willingboro School District. So I am super excited. So I'll keep reading as she's making her way up. So Michelle Ann Spring has taught in Willingboro Hawthorne Park Elementary School for 7 years. But you weren't there when my son was in it. Sorry. She currently teaches 4th grade students. She's been a Willingboro resident for the past 18 years. So we are excited for you. So we are presenting you with this certificate for Teacher of the Year. So thank you. Thank you.
Okay, now we're going to move on to public comments on the agenda items. This portion of public comment is limited to items on tonight's agenda. Anyone who wishes to speak on any other topic will have a chance to do so at the second public comment section later in the meeting. Please note that this is public comment and your opportunity to provide us with input and feedback. This is not a question and answer forum. A reminder, each speaker may only come up once per public comment portion. Let's see, we'll go back to this. First one is Louis Lopez.
Good evening. My name is Luis Lopez. I'm a veteran of Mahan Township. I need 11 Drive. I have for 4 agenda item. For number 2, number 7, 10, and the last one, 27.
10, and what was the last one?
27, the last
27.
one.
Okay, I'll go backwards. 27, basically what it did was there was a donation left to the animal shelter by a Mrs. Chicharik, and we had to approve accepting that amount of money for the shelter. The I-10 Architects, Department of Public Works, Construction Services, that's an architect that's been working on a set of plans. Joe, which one is that for, do you know?
That's our on-call.
On-call? Okay.
We have a special need.
And how about I-7 for us, Joe?
I-7 is the mechanical improvements and exterior improvements to my building in Attleboro, 1900 Bridge Road.
Okay. And basically, I-2 is, we accepted the budget, the audit that was put through for the budget for 2018. And just for the public, we had no comments on anything that was found to be wrong. So we got a pretty much a scot-free life.
Okay. Thank you.
Derek and Michelle Spring. That was oh, okay. Well, you should put down. How about non-agenda? Both Agnes, Marcel.
I'm gonna
You
pass.
pass. Okay. Non-agenda. Okay, that's it. Close this section to the public. Right now, we'll move on to resolutions. I'd like to make a motion that we approve resolutions I-1 through I-10 by unanimous consent.
Second.
Any questions? Hearing all, none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Freeholder same.
Thank you, Director. Before I make the motion, I want to recognize or highlight one of the resolutions tonight that the board is approving, and thank the board for moving on with this. I-14, our agreement with the Farmers Against Hunger. A few months ago, we had a meeting with them, and I see Mr. Specca is here and his whole team. Though I think with a suit and a mustache, I almost missed you. Yeah, so, but we had a meeting and we have farmers, you know, obviously Borough County has a great tradition of in the farming community here, and what to do with it when they have a produce and they want to donate, how to help our communities around, and we're working with them to secure a site where they can store the produce collected and then from there distribute to local food pantries or have other modes of serving the people. And we're thrilled to expand on a current relationship, and the program is providing, just to highlight some of the facts, is over more than 1 million pounds of produce for residents across the state, and we are really ensuring that we are providing healthy options. I was today at the passing of a key ceremony at the food pantry in Burlington Township around 8 o'clock some in the morning, and there was a line already outside, people going in, trying to go for the food and other items they were providing. So I can, like, it's a weekday, I didn't think there was that much need during the weekday and that early in the morning, but you know, looking at that and listening to them about 27 thousands of pounds of food that they go through a month, that was incredible. So I'm really amazed that you guys are taking the initiative to approach us. It's really, we're just providing the space and endorsing it, but it's really the work that you do and your farming community does to help our community. So thank you for doing it. Okay. With that, I'd like to ask unanimous consent of moving resolutions I-11 through I-14.
Second.
Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Freeholder Robson?
Thank you, Director. I'd like to move I-15 through I-25 with unanimous consent, please.
Second.
Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Abstentions? Freeholder O'Connell?
Thank you, Freeholder Director. I'd like to move items I-26 through I-28 through unanimous consent.
Second.
Any questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, we're going to move on to nomination election. We're now on nomination election of a member to the Bridge Commission for a 3-year term. I would like to nominate Matthew Riggins. Are there any other nominations? Aaron, please do a roll call.
Freeholder Hobson,
Matthew Riggins.
Freeholder O'Connell,
Matthew Riggins.
Freeholder Singh,
Matthew Riggins.
Freeholder Tiber,
Matthew Riggins.
Director Polian.
Matthew Riggins. Okay, at this time I'll take any, okay, cool. Sounds good. Okay, at this time I'll take any questions from the press. David, nothing? Okay. Now we move on to comments on non-agenda items.
Shows up in the 4 meetings and no questions.
Okay. We will move on to public comment on the non-agenda
You want to do
items.
that picture first before?
Oh, you want to do that first, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Can we get the American Farmers Against Hunger group for a quick photo to capture our special moment?
Everybody or just? It's all good.
You will. You should go. You should go. Here, come on down here. Come on.
Yeah, we did.
You'll get the picture.
Come on, guys.
Thank you. Good. Thank you for all the work that you do. Good. Right there.
The chiller?
How are you? I'm Murray. Just make sure you can see the camera, you don't need to pick out.
Thank you.
You good?
Yeah.
Where's it?
Wait a minute, you took a picture.
Okay, that's all.
All right. I didn't see the camera though.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Okay, now we'll move on to public comment on the non-agenda items. Once again, I'd like to note that this is a public comment, your opportunity to provide us with input and feedback. It's not a question and answer forum. Each speaker may only come up once for a public comment portion. And on the list, on agenda, Lola Rose. No? Okay, Tamar Springs, I guess. We have Mayor Conaway. Okay. How about Agnes Marcel?
Agnes Marcel, 42 Cromwell, Chesterfield, New Jersey. Good evening. I just wanted to comment that, you know, we hear that the pipeline, the SRL, is still going back and forth with some conditions with the JNG and the engineering office. We're happy to hear the due diligence. I mean, obviously, we don't want it to ever go in, but when it does start, we're told that the engineering office will have someone there all day from 7 to 7. It is my hope that if there are any violations of any sort, since we have given NJNG, you have given them every, you've given them a lot of slack, you've given them a lot of time, you've given them every warning that can be given, that if there are any violations at any time, the permits will be pulled completely without discrimination and forever. So that is my wish, and I hope that that happens. I hope they mess up the first day. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we have Ryan Gresh. Is that correct? Is it Ryan?
It's Ryan, but it's Greg.
Yeah,
It's
okay,
okay.
I'm sorry, Greg?
Yeah, it's not spelled like it sounds.
Sorry.
No problem. Ryan Greg, with Pinelands Preservation Alliance. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. Tonight I'm here to deliver to the Freeholder Board a petition. PPA launched this petition 1 month ago, and I have packets for each of the freeholders. Thank you very much. And I'd like to read that tonight. This is a petition to Burlington County Board of Chosen Freeholders. Keep your word and stop the SRL. After publicly expressing its opposition to the Southern Reliability Link pipeline, Burlington County issued a road occupancy permit to New Jersey Natural Gas to build the pipeline on county roads. Now we are calling on the Freeholder Board to halt the construction before their constituents are subject to the health and safety risks of a high-pressure fracked gas pipeline. The SRL should be stopped because, 1, the pipeline isn't needed. An independent report about the SRL demonstrated that it is unnecessary to provide reliable gas service to customers. 2, the pipeline cuts through the Pinelands National Reserve. This protected area is home to some of the most rare plants and animals in the world and sits on top of the pristine 17 trillion gallon Kirkwood-Cohansey aquifer that should be protected. 3, the pipeline violates the Pinelands Comprehensive Management Plan, the rules that govern the Pinelands. Number 4, the pipeline will cost $220 million, 100% of which will be paid by New Jersey Natural Gas customers. The only people who win are the shareholders of the company. Residents, nonprofits, and community organizations have filed lawsuits against New Jersey Natural Gas, which are likely to be successful in court. but New Jersey Natural Gas is trying to make the pipeline a done deal before the cases are even heard. Burlington County freeholders, please let these cases be argued and decided in the courts. Stop the SRL construction today. Signed, 2,770 people who are relying on you to protect their families, homes, schools, drinking water, clean air, and pinelands. And just to illustrate how many 2,770 is, I have all the petition signatures here. These are mothers, fathers, daughters, sons, sisters, brothers, friends, and neighbors. They care about the pinelands, about clean air, their drinking water. They care about curtailing climate change, protecting sensitive habitats. They don't want to pay $220 million for an unnecessary pipeline. Some voted for you, some didn't, but they are all asking you to let the legal process run its course. We know that a majority of this board is opposed to the SRL pipeline. You've said so publicly. So we know that there is the desire. Your road manual states that this board can revoke of the permit at your discretion in the interest of public safety, so we all know that you have the authority to stop the SRL. So much so that BPU's order about the SRL states that the project is subject to all local approvals. So the BPU even acknowledges that you have the authority. So all that's missing is the will. And not just a lack of will to stop the pipeline, it's a lack of will to accept any responsibility. A few weeks ago, some of the freeholders stated that the Burlington County didn't approve the SRL. This is untrue since New Jersey Natural Gas applied to the county for a permit and the county approved that application. That right there was an approval. Approving the SRL construction in Burlington County was done under the watch of this freeholder board, and it will be your legacy unless you listen to your constituents, listen to the 2,770 people who signed this petition and halt the construction to let the courts decide on the lawsuits. In my remaining time, I would just like to read a couple of the comments from the petition signers. The SRL from Bordentown, New Jersey. The SRL will be 50 feet from the beds my family sleep in. They are robbing our peace of mind for their profit. From Bordentown, New Jersey. As an elected member of the Bordentown City Democratic Committee, I urge you to heed the petitioner's call. Many of us actively supported you with canvassing and economic support. From Medford Lakes, New Jersey. I care deeply about the environment, my children's future. I want the Burlington County freeholders to protect our land, water, and air by stopping the advance of the SRL pipeline. If they are aware of the climate crisis, why aren't they responding appropriately? From Medford, New Jersey. Let the issue work through the court system first. The pinelands are a gift which we must preserve for all that follow. From Chesterfield, New Jersey. It is a travesty to have this pipeline threaten our safety and our environment, completely inappropriate in light of our state's supposed new direction away from fossil fuels. From Delanco, New Jersey. We should be supporting wind and solar farms, not perpetuating fossil fuel plants. Please honor your campaign pledges. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight.
Thank you. Okay, the last one I have is Henry Kuzwinski.
Crosswicks, New Jersey, number 10 Front Street. Is the township engineer here this evening?
Township or county?
Yeah, he's here.
I sent an email, an idea to stop the pipeline. I haven't heard anything. And I know from past experience, the best thing is to stop at the office on Briggs Road, which I will do in the next couple days, and to discuss the idea that I had to stop it. So I hope you'll consider the Pinelands preservation. Excellent presentation tonight, and there are a lot of concerned people. So if you can do anything to stop it, we'd really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, if you want to make an appointment with the engineer, you want to see our PIO, he can help you with that. Okay, I've gone through the list. Is there somebody else? Okay, Louis.
Louise, Francis County Freeholder, Lewis Open, that here in 11.5. I had like 4 comments. Is the trade war is not interfere with our recycling program?
Say that again, Louis, I'm sorry.
It's a trade war, it does not interfere with our recycling plan of the program.
The trade war?
The current trade war has had an effect on how much recyclables. China was the major country who was taking our goods. However, actually today, Jerome, who is in charge of recycling, myself, Carolyn, our CFO, and that, I asked for a meeting to take a look and be a little bit proactive as to what might happen down the road, because some of the counties and even municipalities throughout the country now are starting to see a decline and actually losing money. And I don't want to see that happen with us. What I can convey to you is that our dependency now on China has been diminished. We've looked for other areas of consumption, so we've kind of gotten ahead of it. Right now, the program is solvent. We still are making money, but we do want to be proactive in our ability to look down the road, 2020, 2021, because the only opportunity we would have at that point would be to either charge municipalities for recycling or terminate our recycling efforts in the county, and neither one of those do we want to do. So, yes.
I usually try to contact the Australian recycling. That's the second major one. And the first one is China. The second major is Australia. I saw one goal with the recycling program doing trade war, and we watched on the Spanish network, and the second major one is in Australia, and that's the same effects as China. But if you could look into one in Australia, they also do a major recycling program. A friend of mine just went through that recycling program. You can see traffic from New Jersey to Australia recycling. That's the second one is, I think a request to see if someone could patch a little piece of the sidewalk. The last 300 meters.
Patching on the sidewalks?
Yeah, like the sidewalk is like a 3 inches deep. Yeah.
Yeah, see Nick about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would like
He's
to,
got some information.
well, I'd like to go, both ways, but we have to go around, but she want to go, the other way, around the building.
Gotcha.
See, like this, that, and, what's the update, status to the animal shelters? Any new program, any new, anything, update?
For homeless?
No, for animal shelter.
Oh, at the
Anything,
animal shelter?
happened since the last 300 meetings?
Nothing at this point, no, nothing new.
I would say there's a little bit of dog kill shelter permanent. I would like to see that happen in the future.
Okay.
And it's to sing. There's a very popular family song out there in the family like to hear, The Hero Number One. It's from 1997. Thank you.
Okay, yes, sir.
Good evening, Director, Freeholder Board. My name is Frank Valenti. I live at 407 Neck Road in Burlington Township. I was here around this time last year. Two of the members are on this Freeholder Board weren't here at that time. This is in regard to the road transfer of Neck Road and Delty's Lane. I'd like to know where the status of that is. My neighbors and myself have been inundated for the last 3 years between these warehouses being built and enclosing the neighborhood, which is known as Stevens Station. Most of the houses were built there in the mid-20s. If you ever went down Neck Road, you'll see the large warehouses being built, and the 1 million square foot warehouse is being built near the Route 130 and Cedar Lane. There are signs posted there, however, most of them are not heated. We still have truck traffic. I don't know if the township will take over that road, if they can do something more to deter this. But I'd like to know where the status of this is at this time. The road at Dutchess has been paved for the last month or so. I understand that was one of the holdups or one of the requirements in regard to the transfer between these roads with the township and the county. So I'd like to know at this time, where are we at?
Okay. All I know at this point in time is that there's been a discussion going back and forth as to the county and you talking about Florence or you talking about?
No, this is Burlington Township, that road,
right? Yeah.
Route 658, it's a
Right.
county road, in my area.
Right, they've been talking about I believe a swap.
Yes, it's
If
been
I'm not
talking off
mistaken.
over a year now.
Yeah, but it hasn't occurred yet, I know that.
Well, this is what I'm saying.
I think one of the issues were, whenever we take on a county road, the county road has to adhere to certain specifications, has to be a certain width, has to have, we have to have turned over to us all the rights that were with the road itself from the township. So I know they were working through all that. Nick, do you have anything? Do you have anything?
I'll give you a better answer. Just an update from the county engineer.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Okay, do we have anybody else?
Good evening. My name is Patty Caruso and I live in Upper Freehold. I'm actually not sure what difference it's made having a Democratic majority on the board for the first time in 40 years. Because it seems to me as if you just continue to rubber stamp decisions that were made by former freeholders, former Republican attorneys. And it's actually hard for a lot of people to trust anything you say of substance because you don't follow through on what you say you're going to do, on any promises that you make. And there's always an excuse about why it's someone else's fault. It was interesting that I went to a township committee meeting in the summer and was told by our township mayor, Steve Alexander, who is also an attorney, that he's heard that the conflict of interest lawsuit is going nowhere with Tiber and Gibbs. So this was interesting to me that maybe 3 months ago I'm hearing that people are already talking about the fact that if a vote comes up again in this lawsuit, that you'll all vote the same way, to not overturn any of the road opening permits or road closure permits. It's interesting to me that I'm hearing that from my township. In terms of the violations, when this pipeline goes in, the frightening part is that a small section of it in New Egypt that was started last December, they ripped up the road 5 times. That's pretty frightening to me. So what does that tell you? I doubt if the pipeline is still safe in there, if it took 5 times. Agnes mentioned she hopes that there are any violations of the pipeline being put in that you'll stop construction. I find that very hard to believe, given people that lived near the compressor station that was built made repeated calls, time after time after time, to NJDEP, to a hotline, and absolutely nothing was done. Nothing. So it's hard for me to believe that your engineer who is here and however many police officers who don't know how pipelines are supposed to be put in, I'm not sure why they would, would be able to determine what errors they're making. When I went to Upper Freehold, I was reassured, oh, well, our professional engineer, he'll be out there. My husband's a professional engineer. He has 10, 15 projects going on at any given time. He would never in a million years have 8 hours a day to stand there and watch them put in a pipeline. But that's supposed to make me feel comfortable that the engineer in Upper Freehold will be supervising this. I'm actually not sure how you look yourselves in the mirror. That you all personally, Mr. Tiver, Mr. Singh, Mr. Pulliam, Ms. Hobson, and Mr. O'Connell, are willing to jeopardize 17 trillion gallons of pristine water. It takes about a third of the state that you're willing to jeopardize that for New Jersey Natural Gas to make a profit. That is truly appalling to me. Last month, I went to a ratepayers council meeting in Freehold. After we banged on the door for 15 minutes, we were finally let in. It was me and another member of People Over Pipelines. There was a judge sitting in the front and there were 4 attorneys. That was it. New Jersey Natural Gas proposed a 19% rate hike initially. That's just the first go-round. And then they were going to follow that up with, I think, a 3%. All paid for by the taxpayers, the ratepayers. Why? Why are you allowing this to happen? I really would like you to do your jobs and revoke the road permit. You have the power to do so. Please stop blaming everyone else and have a backbone and stand up to these people. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we've gone through the list. Is there anybody else?
Hi, my name is Joyce Tennis and I'm from Browns Mills, New Jersey. I was here over a year ago, I think, to speak about the intersection of Route 70 and 530 in Pemberton Township. There was another fatality at that intersection last week. And I'm asking the freeholders to please, can we put rumble strips there? I drive to Berlin every day, I work in Berlin, and I drive through the intersection of Oak Shade and I think it's Atzian Road. It's a 4-way intersection. There were rumble strips at all 4 stop signs. I also drove to my son's house in Norriton, and I took Kettle Run Road, and there were a few turns on that road, and there were rumble strips. Last year when I was here, I gave a report to all the freeholders. I know there's been some change, but it was, I didn't bring it today, but there have been several fatalities there in the course of 5 years. I want to say something like 66 fatalities at that intersection. This is where Route 530, yes, in Burlington County.
66.
Fatalities over the last 5 years. Fatalities, accidents with injuries. I can pull the report from last year, but it's ridiculous. The road comes out onto Route 70 at an angle, if you're not familiar with the intersection, and it looks like it continues. Last year when I was here, they put a solar flashing light above the stop sign, or the stop sign ahead sign, but this is in white spots, and it's very hard to see. It's very dark, and on some GPSs, it tells you that the road continues across Route 70. So if you're following your GPS, you don't even see the stop sign. The other intersection that I would like rumble strips is the intersection, it's not an intersection, it's a very sharp left-hand curve at Mount Misery and Junction Road. There have been several fatalities there. One child I know is motherless because of this intersection.
Mount Misery and what?
And Junction Road.
Junction Road?
They're both county roads. And that's it. I would just, if we could please get something there, because it's terrible. I hate getting these nixles in the morning.
We'll get this over to our engineer and have him take a look at it for you.
Okay.
Can you give your contact information to Nicholas, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
Here's the map of the intersections. and this is
Okay,
the-
anybody else? Okay, hearing none, I will close this portion of the non-agenda items. We'll move on to comments by freeholders. Freeholder Tiger?
Thank you, Director. I just want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. And I also wanted to thank law enforcement. I think they all left with us. I just wanted to thank them for everything that they do day in and day out to keep us safe and keep the guys off the street. That's it.
Okay. Freeholder O'Connor?
Thank you, Freeholder Director. I'd like to again add my congratulations to the Burlington County Teacher of the Year, Michelle Ann Spring. And also, we noted under our Women of the Month category in Burlington County, another teacher, Dr. Agostini from Hainesport. We certainly wish her well, and we thank her for what she's done to put Burlington County in a positive light. I'd also like to thank the late Ronnie Chancherik and her estate for her generous donation to our animal shelter. We've already had preliminary discussions with our director of the shelter where we might use the funds, and I look forward to seeing those ideas come to fruition. And last is, between now and the next freeholders meeting, there's going to be an election here in Burlington County and across New Jersey.
Yes, there is.
The residents of the county will grade us on how we're doing, and that's how it should be. Democracy is a participatory endeavor. It requires us to pay attention to events, to educate ourselves on the issues, and vote for people we think will govern us well and fairly. Some of you here may have heard me say this before. I'm a child of the 60s, and back then we had an expression, you're either part of the problem or part of the solution. Being part of the solution, I think, is by going out to vote. We live in very interesting times. Our political discourse has grown coarser over time. I think a political campaign should be about ideas, not personalities, and always focusing on the negative. I'd like to say something about our opponents. They're simply that, our opponents. They're not our enemies. We have different points of view on issues, that's all. I hope our leaders will remember that when they're bashing each other in public. I don't think that serves much purpose. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out here tonight, sharing your views with us. I always look forward to hearing what you have to say, even when we don't agree. I'd like to wish our children here in Burlington County a happy and a safe Halloween, and I wish you all a safe trip home. Thank you, Freeholder Director.
Thank you. Freeholder Robson?
Thank you, Freeholder Director. I'd just like to remind everybody that we are in the middle of Restaurant Week. We're excited about that. Hopefully people are going out and helping us promote Restaurant Week with our local eateries. It started on this past Sunday and it is going through this Saturday. So hopefully we are out eating and getting back together. Thanks everyone for coming tonight. Have a good evening.
Freeholder Singh?
Thank you, Director. Again, congratulations to the Teacher of the Year. I did 11 years in school, and I can say I was never a Teacher of the Year. I know how hard that honor is to get, to compete among your own colleagues in this huge school district like it is. I mean, you do a Teacher of the Year within the building, then you have to do a Teacher of the Year within the district. It is very competitive, and then you Teacher of the Year at the county. So it's a well-earned honor, so we're really glad that we're able to meet her in person. And rest of it, I have been pretty much on and off, so I have not caught up on a lot of the other pieces. But congratulations to the Teacher of the Year, and thank you everyone for coming out.
Thank you. Okay, once again, I want to thank all the law enforcement people that were involved in that operation. I can't begin to tell you how many of the communities, well, you did see this evening, how many of the communities there were raids, there were people picked out of townships. We go, I think, every day, and we take a look at the drugs and all the things that are related to narcotics and the impact it has on the communities as well as as the young folk. And I can tell you that this operation cleared a lot of drugs off the street, and I am extremely appreciative to all of those individuals, once again, who took part in that. I know my own town was affected we had an individual who was taken out of our town. We come to find out later on had a tremendous impact on drugs within our community. So, and in going out into the community, it was amazing that the neighbors and everybody who knew it was going on were so happy and relieved that it was done. So I look forward to more and more efforts like that in the county and actually throughout the state and the country. We're going to have a nice little festivity I want to make everybody aware of on Saturday. What do you call it? Treats in the trunk? Trunk or treat. Well, I got it close. Trunks and the treats. Treats in the trunk, whatever. It's going to be over at Human Services. It's going to be over at Human Services.
Special Services.
Our Special Services School. Burlington County Special Services School. I think 12 o'clock, right?
12 to 3.
12 to 3. Okay. And I want to thank everybody for coming out. The directors, again, I know you're getting sick and tired of me saying it, but thank you so much for everything you do every day. The machine's going well, and we appreciate everything that you do for us. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for your comments, and have a safe trip home. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.